here, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Christmas plus college football playoff plus great college basketball plus NFL. It truly is a festive time of year. Want to remind everybody, we are not going to go live at our normal time tomorrow. We are going to live stream the Indiana-Notre Dame game. That game starts at 7 p.m. Central. We're going to go live from all the platforms you can hear us and watch us at 6:40 p.m. Central. Maybe go a little bit earlier than that. We'll see. But don't be freaked out. No show at the normal time, 2 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to go live at Mission Cigar Bar. The guys who own it are from the state of Indiana, and they're Indiana and Notre Dame fans. Like, this could not have worked out more perfectly. But before we get into this, got a great show for you today. We're going to make our predictions on the brackets and all that. But Cone, Alabama's AD, Greg Byrne, came out and was asking for NIL money. Is that what it was?
Did you read this thing?
I read it pretty quickly.
It's several paragraphs long. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I hate that happened to you, or I'm really happy that happened to you.
It starts off, Alabama fans, over the past few years, there have been drastic changes in college athletics. We've been careful during this transition period to protect our position at the top of college athletics, blah, blah, blah. Setting up the collective, for fans to donate to the collective. I do want to read one part, though, here in the middle. You have heard examples of other teams using promises of million-dollar paydays to lure away our players or convince them to not come to Alabama. It is time for the Bama Nation to fight back. Set aside the fact that Alabama's gotten some of the best transfers over the past few years. I mean, they took Keon Sabb from Michigan, six-figure deal. Jamison Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs both are balling for the Lions right now. Those were two marquee transfers they got from Georgia Tech and OSU. Set that aside. But haven't the fans been footing the bill enough, man? Like, these schools get $70 million each year just from Disney on the TV deal.
Yeah, part of me, this kind of feels like, the king, complaining about he doesn't have enough money, or it's not going good enough, or you didn't get the right cherries for him. Like, if this was a place that didn't have money, not saying that Alabama has as much money as what Michigan does with the $231 billion backer, but they're one of the top players in the game. On one hand, I'm like, yes, it does sound like that. Like, you're making the middle class or the people that already dump a bunch of money into the program, ask them to pay more. But to me, I get why he would say it. Like, you're trying to raise as much money as possible. This is like one of those campaign emails. I thought we were done with this after the election until the next one, where they send you something like, hey, we got to fight back against the other side. So even if you send $9.99, it's going to help out. That's what it reminds me of. But to me, I feel like there's got to be a more creative way to do it. Why do you just not have the commercial that's like got like the Sarah McLachlan music in the background? It's like, for 99 cents a day or less than a cup of coffee, you can get us a defensive lineman. Or like, just have a little bit more creativity about it. But yes, it does feel like the rich screaming at the middle class to give them money when they're already paying taxes. It does have that feel. But at what point do we get those commercials? I think it would be hilarious. I think the first school that does it may make a lot of money off donations just because it's funny. Just like the ones we see overseas, those are the ones about animals. That are like, oh, like this humane society's overrun, for $1.25 a day, you can find Roscoe a home. Like, why can't you do that with like a wide receiver? Like, we need a wide receiver, so let's throw a commercial out there and get the people going. I mean, what do you think, Blaine?
I mean, if anybody does a commercial, I think we should do it as a spoof commercial. I think that'd be absolutely hilarious. But isn't it a type of, is Rome burning? Is Rome, is this like is the tsunami coming for Alabama and you can see it through the airplane window?
See, I talked about this.
Get away from it?
I talked about this the other day. I don't think Alabama is going to disappear into irrelevance or there's a 5-alarm fire going on. It's just a questionable time there because there was a changing of the guard in leadership. You lost the greatest head football coach of all time. The game is evolving that I think helps out the parity in it. And you didn't make the college football playoff this year. But to me, it's why not just come out and say, hey, you don't have to give me all the details about like, oh, we really don't have that much money and these guys are plucking all these players from us. Why don't you come out and say, hey, we're trying to raise as much money as possible. We're trying to keep putting one of the best products out on the field. We got to be able to have this money to compete with everybody in the 1%, the 1% of the 1%. If you can donate some money to us, great. If not, we just appreciate you buying tickets and going to the game. Why not go about it like that instead of make it sound like you're Oliver Twist?
I'm so used to Alabama being a step ahead of everybody. When it comes to everything in college football, I'm not used to seeing this from anything Alabama, especially the Alabama AD, coming out and saying this with Nick Saban, no matter what it was, no matter what they threw their way, they were always a step ahead of everybody else, and now it just doesn't seem like
So you're saying that you feel like this statement with what he said and the way that he, typed it out shows weakness or maybe a lack of forethought?
If Nick Saban's the head coach, does he do this?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. He
so.
had no problem when they were plucking the best players from other schools.
I think he'd have told him that makes us look weak. Don't put it out like that.
Exactly.
And I don't think Greg Burns is a weak person. He's obviously a very smart man to get in the position that he's in. I know a lot of people think highly of him. But this does, it just kind of reeks a little bit of desperation when I don't think you have to sound desperate.
I've been saying this, a similar sentiment that I just made, I've been saying about some of the wealthiest boosters and donors. And look, we have ties to Alabama and some of these schools. We know some of the boosters and donors who are giving a lot of this money. And I've even talked to some of them in some instances. It's like even they who have millions and millions of dollars are kind of tired of footing the entire bill to get more and more players when the TV deals were $70 million, or the college football playoff deal is worth $10 billion over 10 years, or whatever the exact specifics of it are. Forget the common man. The common man who already goes above and beyond to spring for, say, season tickets, right? Or spends that extra bit of money to get his 4 or 5 person family to a neutral site bowl game or college football playoff game, or in this case, first round, second round, maybe have to go to California to watch a Rose Bowl or something like that. Now, even more money?
Well, if I'm an Alabama fan, part of me is like, wait a minute. You want me, the majority middle class, maybe even a little lower than middle class, some higher than middle class. It's not, a monolith. I don't want to paint everybody with a broad brush. If I'm an Alabama fan, I'm like, wait a minute. We didn't make the playoff this year. We got a new coach. We're paying him how much a year? I just saw Mike Norvell give $4.5 million back to Florida State. I just saw Brian Kelly give $1 million to the NIL fund at LSU. Why are you coming and asking me? I'm the baker, dog, in the town. You're paying this cat $10 million a year to go 9-3 and not make the playoff? Why don't you go ask him for some money instead of asking me for some money?
Like, if you're a Cowboys fan and I'm supporting my team, the Dallas Cowboys, because I bought the PSL, the seat license season tickets or whatever, got all 3 of my sons a Dak Prescott jersey. Like, Jerry Jones isn't putting out emails to say, like, hey, donate more money.
No, I think if you're going to go about it, I've got no problem with you asking for it, but I think there's a way that you don't sound desperate or make it seem like, you're Oliver Twist or at the bottom of the barrel. This is like gangs in New York. You're just trying to find a butcher knife to go fight in the middle of the square. I just don't like the way they went about it. The 12-team college football playoff begins tomorrow. We're making our picks today. Diego Pavia apparently can come back to play another year. I think that's a win for all of college football. And we preview some of the top bowl matchups outside of the college football playoff for this bowl season. I'm Jake Crain. Thanks for being here. Hit subscribe. It's Crain and Company. Lock the gates. Let's get it. We've given you the most in-depth previews of some of these college football playoff matchups. We've talked about the nuance schematically and the stylistic fights that wait ahead. We've even talked about the narratives that are outside of what happens on the field affecting each one of these teams, from fans invading a different place to maybe the weather being a factor for a team from Dallas. All the time for previews, it's done. All the time for schematic adjustments and what this team has to do and what that team has to do. We've been through all that. It's time to make the picks. And since we don't have our live show at the normal time tomorrow, we're going to live stream the Indiana-Notre Dame game. We wanted to go ahead and give you our individual thoughts on how the bracket will unfold and who will be the national champion. Because at the end of the day, we've emptied the tank on everything else, and this is all that's left. So let's pick some winners. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crain. Guys, it is time to make our predictions. Okay, we want to know yours in the comments, too. Who do you think is going to win the national championship? Blaine, tell everybody the poll real quick if they're listening on audio.
The poll is, who will win the national championship? Oregon, Georgia, Ohio State, and other. I only have 4 options here, so I thought those 3 were good with other at the top.
All right, we want to know who you think is going to win it. But, David, before we get to these picks, just briefly tell me how excited you are, not only about the live stream we're doing tomorrow, but about this playoff in general.
Man, I can't wait for this. And again, because the games are at historic venues in college football, that just adds so much to me. I do want to just go back to my preseason picks here for 1 second. It looks like I got 6 out of the 12 teams right. So Oregon, Penn State, Texas, Notre Dame. I had Georgia in there, and I had the Buckeyes in there. So 6 of the 12. I had Georgia beating Texas for the national championship in my preseason. But in this one coming up here, I think I'm going to go a little different direction.
Go a little bit different. Blaine, quickly, I mean, dude, you talk about being locked in. We're going to be absolutely locked come this weekend.
I don't know if it gets better than this.
I know.
Maybe a 16-team playoff.
Here we go.
Maybe a 24. 38, 56. Let's have the whole season be a playoff, guys. Let's really get into it.
Conserve your powder, David.
Don't go down to his level, David.
Die Hard's not a Christmas.
Conserve your powder. All right, I'll go first. Can we put my prediction for how the bracket will unfold?
Whoa!
That's right. That's
Who
right.
is
Look,
this
we
guy?
don't play no favorites. And I'm sure, and my brother so astutely reminded me of this, I did lead off a show a couple weeks ago talking about how I don't think that Quinn Ewers can be the piece that leads Texas to the national championship, but they don't have to have him do that. I just think he has to not screw it up. That's how good I think they are on defense, and eventually they're going to be able to protect him at enough points for Texas to win the national championship. Now, do I think that Texas and Penn State are the 2 best teams in the country? I do not. But that's not how this bracket works out. It's the circumstance of who you are playing, where you are playing them, and when you are playing them as you advance through the bracket. So here's what I got. I got Texas beating Clemson to face Arizona State in the second round. I got Tennessee, that's right, Rocky Top. Sorry, not sorry, Ryan Day. Beating Ohio State in a thriller, possibly overtime, to move on to play Oregon in the second round. I've got Penn State beating SMU, too big of an advantage at home. I think the weather's going to play a factor too. Give me Penn State to play Boise in the second round. Then Notre Dame in a low-scoring walk-off field goal from the left hash, 43 yards, to beat Indiana to go play Georgia in the second round. So, second round games. I got Texas beating Arizona State. I love me some Cam Scatterbo. Kenny Dillingham, the boy who lived, all that. But that matchup is just so brutal for them because Texas can stop the runs like Pepto-Bismol, man. And then Tennessee beating Oregon.
Wow.
Beating Oregon. That means they would beat Ohio State and Oregon. Listen, I got a lot of respect for Dan Lanning. Oregon's had an incredible year. I don't think they've been tested as much as some of these other teams, and this would not be a home game for Oregon. It'd be played at the Rose Bowl, and I know a lot. The Rose Bowl is closer to Oregon than it is to Tennessee, but they don't care. Tennessee fans will walk across the Arctic butt naked and barefoot to get to this game if they have to. I got Tennessee facing Texas, an SEC showdown in the semifinal.
Hold on 1 second. Just pause right there because this 12-team playoff is going to be awesome no matter what happens. But if we get a Tennessee and Texas matchup,
the battle of
if we get the UT battle that we didn't get in the SEC regular season, that would be a semifinal game. That'd be a semifinal game in the middle of January.
That would be a semifinal
Boy,
game.
Sign me up.
Yeah, we'll find out who the real UT is. Then at the bottom of the bracket, sorry, Boise State, Ashton Genty. It's a cool story, but so is Hansel and Gretel, and we know what happened to them. Give me Penn State over Boise State. And then Carson Beck being hurt. I love the story of Gunnar Stockton coming in, tough, getting run. I don't think this Georgia team is as elite as some of the Georgia teams in the past. I think most of y'all agree with me. This was probably the toughest pick for me to make between Notre Dame and Georgia. I think Riley Leonard finds a way. I think Notre Dame puts Gunnar Stockton, turns the ball over twice. Notre Dame beats Georgia to play Penn State. And Penn State beats Notre Dame in a higher scoring game than what
So kind of like Penn State, Oregon?
Kind of like Penn State, Oregon a little bit, to play Texas, and Texas beats Penn State to win the national championship. They'll never shut up about it. They didn't win the SEC championship. We've seen that story happen before. Not because Texas is the best team, because of where they're at. I just think Tennessee runs out of gas after the first 2 weeks, man. Beating Ohio State, then you got to play Oregon, then surprise, you got to play Texas. That matchup would be great stylistically with the way they operate. But that's what I got, Texas to win the national championship. Not because Quinn Ewers is elite, but because everybody else is.
That'd be good for James Franklin, huh?
Yeah.
Make the national championship. Still losing a big one to Texas. Don't bring mine up yet. Because I don't want to reveal. I just want to talk for a minute about this 8-9 matchup. I've gone back and forth on this thing.
I'm worried, David.
15 different times. So much so that even after I submitted my pick to Justine, I texted her and had her change it at the last second.
You landed
because there's a lot of different things that I'm thinking about with this 8-9 matchup, and I'm so glad we got it. It's going to be in Columbus. It's going to be awesome. I don't think the Buckeyes are going to play as poorly as the last time we saw them against Michigan. I think that they are going to come out and they're going to play good football. I still think they are a good football team. They're going to be at home. I don't know why it's 7.5. I don't like them from a betting standpoint and all that. But every time I get on social media and I see this Barstool Tate guy and the rest of these Buckeye fans just going off, making fun of Tennessee for being hillbillies and being from the South, I can't take it. I can't take it. So bring my picks up for the 8-9 matchup. I'm going to have to ride with Rocky Top. I'm going to take Tennessee.
Whoa, the 12-5, David.
The Tennessee over that. And then, now we can get to Clemson, Texas. I know you have Texas win the national championship. That's not going to happen because I got to get bounced in the first round. I want absolute chaos in this thing. We asked for a 12-team playoff. We got one. I want chaos. Clemson in the 12-5. You know there's always one. March Madness, but in December. Give me the Clemson upset, playing Arizona State. I'm going to have Penn State holding serve over SMU, and I'm going to pick Notre Dame to beat Indiana, so the bottom of the bracket holds serve there, all in the first round. Give me Arizona State then to beat Clemson to make the semifinal game. Oregon beats Tennessee, unlike your pick, so that'd be Oregon, Arizona State in that semifinal. I got Penn State taking on Notre Dame, which I think is what you have, right?
Yep.
In a high-scoring affair. Are we all in agreement that Carson Beck is not going to play?
I'm assuming like UCL.
He's not going to play, right?
No. UCL, ACL. If it ends in CL, it's
so then it kind of comes down to, he wasn't playing that great, and they were still winning games. Remember the stat we had when he had multiple interceptions in the same game? Their points per game increased. Gunnar Stockton, the pride of Rabun County. Maybe Georgia's better with him at quarterback. Well, I have no idea.
David, can I say that
I'm going to take Notre Dame in that one, though.
You know what? And I wonder if this affected your pick. This is what I want to ask. Did that last interception that Gunnar Stockton threw, like the one thing he couldn't do against Texas, that just keeps bleeding into me?
It should have been a pick six. Let's be honest. There was one guy to beat, and they're too busy celebrating to block the one guy. It should have been a pick six. Texas wins the game, but Georgia did the little things right. And look, Georgia, I picked them preseason. Wouldn't be crazy at all if they win the whole thing with their backup quarterback. I'm going to take Notre Dame in that game, though. Notre Dame, Penn State, just like what you have, which means I've got an Oregon, Notre Dame final. Oregon won every game up to this point, man. They're solid at the quarterback position. They're solid in the skill positions. They're solid on defense. Dan Lanning doing a great job coaching. Give me Oregon right now to win the championship.
I love it. That Clemson one. That's
what's the score? What do you have a score for that 12-5?
In the final or in the Clemson?
No, the 12-5. Clemson, Texas.
I'll go with 30.
Wow.
27.
Wow. They drop a
30 piece on Texas.
They drop a 30 piece on Texas. Clemson.
All right, fellas, I love it. Go ahead and bring mine up.
All chalk, huh? Really?
Ryan Day, congratulations.
What is going on?
You did it. You did it. Look, I picked them before the season started. All right, they made it to the playoff. Let's go through it. Mostly somewhat chalky here. Not like these other two guys going out on the limb, but I think Texas beats Clemson. I think they somewhat beat them handily. I think Tennessee's going to come out and be ready to play. I think this game's going to come down to a field goal. I think
that's what scares me.
At Ohio State is going to help out somewhat, and being in that cold weather and all the hate that's going towards Ohio State, I think they prevail late. I got Penn State over SMU. I got Notre Dame over Indiana. I think that's going to be a close game as well. I have Texas beating Arizona State. The way Arizona State's built, it's not a good formula to go against this Texas team who has one of the best defenses in college football. And I got the rematch. I'm going to Ohio State, Oregon. You got to remember, Ohio State lost this game. Where was it?
At Oregon.
It was at Oregon. They lost by 3, and Dan Lanning had to
lost by one.
One, excuse me. Dan Lanning had to put 12 guys on the field to win. I think a neutral site game. I think Ohio State's roster is good enough to beat Oregon. And I think Penn State beats Boise State. I mean, great story. Y'all shouldn't have been here anyways. Notre Dame and Georgia, I'm not doing it. Look, I saw Georgia beat Texas by just their defense. Right? That's what I saw. They're that good in big moments and big games when the pressure is at its highest. You know who I trust? I trust Kirby Smart, and I trust Georgia. Oh, boy, Notre Dame still has to prove it to me and that roster. I don't know how good that defense really is. And I got Texas, Ohio State, absolute barn burner here. I think Ohio State is too good on defense. And I go back to what I said. I don't think Quinn Ewers can extend a play and win big games and make the plays late in games to get you that win. I think Will Howard can. Give me Georgia over Penn State. Even with Penn State, Drew Allar playing better, I still think Georgia is a better football team from front to bottom, especially defensively. I think Georgia's defense will keep them in it every game. And this was my preseason national championship, was Georgia versus Ohio State.
Was it? That was the game you had?
Mm-hmm.
So you're sticking with that?
I am. And I think Ohio State just has more from a roster standpoint.
That's where not having Carson Beck
kills you.
Kill you.
Right, kills
That's
you. So I don't think Gunnar Stockton will be enough to overcome that game. And Ohio State Buckeyes, national champions.
So we got all three got different
Texas,
national champions.
Yeah, I thought we'd have a Georgia Oregon in there somewhere for the national championship because that's likely.
Well, that's what likely we're going to have. I wonder what the odds on that are. So that's what we're stepping in. Let's go with the chat because I'm sure everybody agrees.
All right, Chad, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read. Let's go to SW Lion 26. So I think Ohio State is going to have a chip on their shoulder. They don't want to end the season with back-to-back losses at home. I think they sneak past Tennessee.
The sneak pass is the part that scares. Like, I got a feeling there may be a decent chance that Tennessee leads this whole game, and then Ohio State, like at the end, pulls it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it could almost look similar to the way it goes down, like the Ole Miss LSU game, where Ole Miss is like leading the whole game. LSU ties it up late, ends up, I think that game went into overtime, something like that, and they pull it out. That's what worries me about the Tennessee pick, because I need Tennessee to win that game because I got to win in the next game too. So
let me ask you this about the 12-5 when I picked Clemson to beat Texas. Is there any part of you guys that thinks, Clemson and Dabo Swinney winning the ACC with the 3 losses, that was sort of their Super Bowl, just to win that and to even get in the playoff. And they're sort of already playing with house money. Texas coming off the loss is just going to be extra focused.
If they hadn't won as big as they did before with Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence and all this, I would say yes. It would have more of that Arizona State feel to it. Like, hey, Clemson just excited to be here, whatever. But since they've won national championships before and they've had elite success, I think the standard, at least from the fans, are like, we're Clemson. We should have a chance to go win this thing. Every time we've gotten in the postseason, we've given ourselves a chance to win it or that we've won it. Maybe the team, that's all that matters, how the team feels, though. Like, if the team feels that way, if that's the way that he's trying to angle it, I don't know which way he's trying to angle it, because you could go that route of the nobody believes we should be here and we found a way to do it and it's house money, or, hey, we're a big dog too. We ought to go in this game with immense confidence, knowing that we're Clemson. We've done this before. We're not afraid of these big-time teams. We've won these big games. So I'm interested to see how he's angling it.
Let's go to Alex Nelson. The committee made a mistake voting against Genty and Boise State. I'm sorry, boys, but you're wrong. Boise State has a huge chip on their shoulder.
I understand that sentiment from the fans, but my question to you is, what did you think? Genty was just not going to play hard before he lost the Heisman, or like he just wasn't going to be good? Like, when we talk about motivation, what do you think? He's going to run harder now?
Yeah.
He's going to try harder now as opposed to not trying hard? Maybe it'll affect the team around him. Maybe that can be a rallying cry for them. But I think Ashton Genty was going to go give 100% regardless. I don't think it's going to come down to it's 4th and 2 and they're going to give him the ball. And in order for him to run a linebacker over to get the first down, he has to garner up that extra anger because he lost the Heisman. I just think he's a competitive dude. They're playing for the national championship in the tournament. I don't think you need any more motivation. Maybe it'll help prepare better, but I already think he prepares really good. So I don't really buy into Ashton Genty's going to be a great player now because he's pissed. He's been a great player.
Let's go to $2 donation from Jose. Appreciate it, Jose. It says Boise State, Oregon rematch. Clemson beats Texas.
Bring up the brackets. So Boise State, Oregon rematch would have to be in the national championship, right?
It would.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have to be in the. If Boise beats either Penn State or SMU, then Georgia or Notre Dame, look, I'll pick them to win the Natty against Oregon. If they're doing that, right, God, that's a tough test, man. That's a tough test. But if you're a Boise fan, you got to be rooting for SMU, right? I'm not trying to take a shot at Red in them, but I would much rather play SMU than play Penn State if I was Boise.
I agree. Let's go to a $5 donation from Mama Locks. Appreciate it. Gabriel was coached by Heupel at UCF. Makes this possible Vols versus Oregon matchup more interesting. Do you think that is an advantage for the Vols?
That is interesting.
I mean, Dylan Gabriel's played college football for 30 years, so don't surprise me that, Josh Heupel and him cross paths. I think maybe 70% of the coaching world, Dylan Gabriel's probably crossed paths with. I don't think it's going to matter that much. There's so much that has evolved from both of them. Maybe just understanding, truly understanding the physical traits, the strengths and the weaknesses of the player, maybe even having that mental relationship with him, knowing what he looks at first, how disciplined he is going through his reads, how ready he is to run and things like that. But as far as making a huge advantage that can move the needle, I just think it's a relationship in the past. I mean, you walk by an X on the street downtown, it doesn't mean that, you got an advantage of some sort.
All right, let's go to Michael P. Appreciate it, Mike. He says, guys, I like Boise State's matchup a lot when it gets there. What team other than Boise State, a.k.a. SMU, do you think how far they could go in the tournament?
Like an underdog?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so probably Arizona State, SMU.
Yeah, to your first point, I think it's hard to say you like the matchup regardless of who wins this game because you don't know who's won this game. And I think the way that Penn State goes about things and the personnel they have and the way that SMU goes about things and the personnel that they have, especially at quarterback, are way different. So if you just like Boise State because you think they're the best team in the tournament, then that's fine. But I think it may be putting the cart a little bit ahead of the horse, saying, well, SMU and Penn State are so similar, I like the matchup either way. I think they're two totally, completely different teams when you look at the way that they go about things, especially on the line of scrimmage and then the creativity of the quarterback as well. Not that Aller's paraplegic, but Jennings looks like, Jim Thorpe compared to him. So as far as other teams, that Arizona State-Texas matchup, God, it's just stylistically not good for Arizona State. Like what they're best at, Texas is the best at stopping. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get away with not having to funnel resources to bring pressure on Quinn Ewers with that Texas offensive line. Maybe not, speaking about Arizona State's defense. I mean, again, you saw my bracket, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I think, an SMU or a Boise State or Arizona State's going to make a long run. If I had to pick one, I mean, God, you'd almost have to pick, SMU, right? Or Boise, one of those two, because you're on the weaker side of the bracket.
Let's go to Don't Tread on Me. He says, that's okay, fellas. Just keep taking UGA lightly. See how that works out for you.
Well, Blaine hasn't played the national champion.
Not me.
I don't think it's taking them lightly. I get it. You're a Georgia fan. You're going to back your team. Makes 100% sense. I just don't think this Georgia team, if I was a Georgia fan, I just wish we'd played Texas 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, I guarantee you this. Y'all find yourselves playing Texas again, I guarantee you I'll take it.
Yeah.
No way I'm betting Texas again.
For sure. Y'all came through for me last time. Again, nothing would surprise me, though. And I think that's what the greatest part about this tournament is nothing would super surprise me. All right, the phone lines are going to open here in about 17 minutes at 2:45 p.m. Central. We want your predictions. 1-855-236-3228. Want to move on to some of these other bowl matchups before we get to locks, leans, and dogs. But first, I know a lot of you out there drink coffee. You probably love it, right? Maybe it's espresso. Maybe it's a light roast. Maybe it's a dark roast. Maybe it's something that I'm not smart enough to know yet that's super cool and innovative that is going to take over the country in the next couple of years. But you want to make sure that not only is your coffee of the best quality, but you can also help out great causes, which is the best part about this next thing I'm going to tell you with Black Rifle Coffee. Not only do you get a great deal and can get 20% off your purchase, I'll give you the code in a second, but their coffees are roasted right here in the USA by a veteran-led team of expert roasters who take pride in serving coffee and culture to people who love America. And we all love America, right? Every purchase you make helps them further their mission to support veteran and first responder causes. Everything from getting funding and equipment to first responders to helping veterans get medical care. They've got a huge selection, like I said, dark roast, light roast, everything in between. They even got a coffee quiz that can pair you with the coffee that you should probably drink that you'll enjoy the most. And again, every purchase you make, a portion goes towards supporting those veteran and first responder causes. So head to blackriflecoffee.com right now. Use code DailyWire, all one word, for 20% off America's coffee. That's blackriflecoffee.com with code Daily Wire. David, the college football playoff aren't the only games that are going on in the college football realm. What else do we got?
You are correct, sir. Let's talk a little Alabama taking on Michigan. This will be in Tampa, Florida, in the Relia-Quest Bowl, also known as the Cone Family House Divided Bowl.
They always do this to y'all.
Yeah, they do. 3 times in 5 years of marriage. Minus 11 right now, Alabama. 43.5 on the points line. Sounds like Jalen Milroe is going to play for Alabama. That's the last thing we heard, right? I don't know about the Michigan side. I think a lot of these guys who are first-round picks are going to be sitting out on the Michigan side. Obviously, some of these we aren't going to know even up till kickoff. We don't know about a lot of the opt-outs. But right now, how do you feel about Michigan's chances to beat Alabama in a bowl game?
Not good because Milroe's going to play. The thing about the Michigan opt-outs, we know they've been without Will Johnson for, a portion of the back half. He's probably not going to play. Like, is Mason Graham going to play? Like, are these defensive linemen going to play? That's the question I have. I know the transfer portal has affected a different amount of people. At quarterback, hell, throw me out there. Who knows with Michigan? It's not going to make that much of a difference anyway. I just feel like, is there also somewhat of a revenge factor for Alabama after what happened last year? Remember, Michigan beat them, then won the national championship. There's a reason that spread's at 11. I think Michigan is just trying to hurry up and get to Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do. Beating Ohio State, to me, has taken all the pressure off of Michigan to win a bowl game. I think that was the bowl game. That was the thing that mattered the most because you weren't getting in the playoff. We knew who Michigan was at that point. So I like Alabama. They want to get a good taste in their mouth after being left out of the playoff. You'll see some anger there. I think you'll see a little bit of a revenge factor for some of the guys that are on the team still. And plus, Jalen Milroe, especially if those D linemen aren't going to play for Michigan and Milroe's going to run around out there.
Have you seen some of the guys who are not only coming back from Michigan's D-line, but who they're getting out of the portal too with the Payne kid from Alabama?
Yeah, listen, there's 3 things I'll never worry about. Whether I love my wife, whether Auburn's going to let me down, and whether Michigan's going to have a good D-line.
They're going to be so good. How do you feel about this one?
It comes down to the single question, who's going to play for Michigan? That's what it comes down to. And I don't know if Kalen DeBoer can afford to lose this game.
What, you mean they'd fire him?
No, just from an optics standpoint. I mean, you have Greg Burns coming out pleading for money. You have guys going into the portal, the guys who are pretty good that you didn't think they're going to go there. If you go lose to this Michigan team, it's just going to be another layer of bad press, bad PR. It's just not going to be a good look. So I think Alabama and Kalen DeBoer are going to go like they have to win this football game, and I like Alabama to cover.
Interesting.
So you like the 11 right now?
Yeah, I've seen it 11 and
that's
10.5. If it goes
down?
to 10.5, I think it'll go down. If it goes to 10.5, buy that game at 9.5.
Without a doubt, that's 100%. Like Florida right now, it's down to 10. Bought it at 9.5 earlier today. Thank you. I'll put it in my pocket, walk out of here with a smile and a Big Mac.
All right, let's move on to South Carolina taking on Illinois. This is a cool 9-3 matchup here. This is the this is the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. And right now that line is minus 9.5 South Carolina and 48 points on the point total.
Do we know for Illinois, who had a sneaky good year, by the way? I don't think enough people talked about what Bielema did at Illinois. Is Altmaier and all them playing? Like, do we know if Luke's playing or are these guys? This is what makes this so difficult. Because part of me, and some of y'all say, oh, this is soft or whatever. If I'm Shane Beamer, I want to end the year on a high note. We got left out of the playoff. Everybody's 13 players are pissed. But why play Lenore Sellers in this game?
Luke Altmaier is thankful to return for his senior year.
So he's playing.
For Illinois.
So he's playing.
So, I mean, it'd be weird to come back next year and not play
That's
in the bowl
true,
game.
but do you think there's any thought about not playing Lenore Sellers in this game?
No.
I know they're going to. I'm not saying he will, but would you even entertain it if you were the head coach? Would you even entertain it? I know Kyle, the Kennard guy, the defensive lineman, who's a stud, isn't going to play in this game for South Carolina. What's the over-under at in this one?
47.5.
God, I like the over. I really like the over.
Is this a type of game that South Carolina needs to go prove that they were a playoff team? Just need to go beat up Illinois for 4
Like, beat them up or just win it?
Definitely win it.
Win it. I mean, the spread's at 9.5. So I would say 2 touchdown game. And from a physical standpoint, you just look like the better team to go win this and to prove to the playoff committee that you are a playoff team.
That would also catapult you into next season, which I think is what they mostly need.
It would. But to me, I think the more important part about going and having a good showing here is to continue, and you talked about catapulting, but just continue to garner this big-time momentum that you captured in the back half of the season. You're able to go beat Clemson. Yes, you're disappointed you didn't get in the college football playoff, but it's like a snowball right now in a good way for South Carolina. They're just accumulating momentum and accumulating momentum and accumulating momentum. And then you look to next year to who they have coming back. I know they're losing some pieces on defense, but by having a good showing in this game, it's going to do nothing but enhance you in the eyes of other people that are getting in the transfer portal. So if you're South Carolina, you want to strike while the iron's hot. I agree with you. But will it be out of anger of not making the playoff? Maybe a little bit. But I think it'd be more out of wanting to keep the momentum going into next year, where South Carolina could legitimately, we'll see how it shakes out in the portal, be a top 5 team in the rankings heading into next year. I think you could see that.
All right, let's talk about Texas A&M taking on Southern Cal. Don't know who's going to play wide receiver for Southern Cal. A lot of those guys in the portal right now. But the line is -3.5 Texas A&M and 52 on the point total.
It's really hard for me not to say that taking this at 3.5 and buying it down to 2.5 for A&M may not be the best bet on the board. I think A&M is together. You got a young quarterback in Marcel Reed. You know they're going to play. They want to get that bad taste out of their mouth after having lost to Texas at home to eliminate you not only from the college football playoff, but from your opportunity to play in the SEC championship game for the first time in the history of you being the SEC. You want to get that momentum back rolling. And I think Elko is so good, and I've said this many times, of getting his guys to focus on the task at hand, kind of eliminating some of those distractions that in the past would kind of overcome Texas A&M. You look at USC, it's all distractions right now. Guys leaving left and right. I mean, heck, is Blaine going to have to play wide receiver for USC? I mean, I know the Maeva guy is going to be the quarterback, and he can do some nice things. But A&M, you look at who they have on defense. If you don't have all your weapons and they're not weapons grade, ready to go, you can get buried in this game by this A&M defense. I think this could possibly be, and I had said it was Florida before this, but that Florida line keeps sinking and it's scaring the hell out of me. This may be the best bet on the board. But if you're USC, how much do you need to just have a good showing in this game? I'm not even saying win. If A&M ties you to a pole and beats you to death with a baseball bat in the middle of the city, how much does that ratchet up the pressure even more on Lincoln Riley, where you have taken a 9.5 with a trust fund, and now she looks like she's been doing meth for the last 3 years and is on FBI's Most Wanted?
Yeah, you're going to have to see some improvement next year at USC for Lincoln Riley. To some people, there may not be a big difference between 6-7 and 7-6, but at least for the Trojans, what's at stake, because they're 6-6 right now, to finish with a winning record on the season rather than a losing record. I mean, look, that's better than the alternative. And then for Texas A&M, 8-4. I mean, Mike Elko finishes with 9 wins in his first season, 9-4. That'd be significant.
It's just, Jake, I agree with you. It's hard for me not to bet A&M in this game. I mean, first of all, how much do you trust a new kid at quarterback for USC?
I mean,
have you seen enough for him to trust him?
Defense, but without the weapons. Like, I don't even think it's about trusting him. Like, look who's gone. Like, everybody's leaving. And to me, this is it feels like USC right now is bleeding out on the ground. And this could be a little bit of a tourniquet to stop the bleeding somewhat, beating it. You know what you could say for USC? Yeah, it didn't go great. Beat 2 SEC teams, though. Beat LSU, beat Texas A&M. There's something to be said for that. You can sell that a little bit. USC sells itself, but you need a little bit of an add-on, a little upcharge with the meal. But, I mean, if you go get drowned in this game, like, dude, you talk about not being as attractive as you used to be. I mean,
it comes to bowl games, it's almost like, who cares more? That's what team is more together and what team is.
I think A&M. I think
Florida. I feel like Florida cares more.
Yeah.
Right now in that game versus Tulane, I think A&M cares more about this win right now than USC does with all the distractions. Not a lot of distractions.
I think Bama cares more than Michigan.
I do. I think Michigan's already looking to next year. I really do. With all the big names they've gotten, Bryce Underwood through the portal, I think what teams need this the most. I think this will be a great cap off for Billy Napier at Florida. A great, I mean, Texas A&M with Mike Elko, great cap-off win. Even if Lincoln Riley wins this game, this season will be looked at as a failure.
Yeah, but at least you stop the bleeding somewhat. Because again, you go get dry. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if Mike Elko can beat USC by 50 points, he's going to do it. He's going to 100% do it. So if you go lose by 28 or 30, it's just going to do nothing but speed up the collapsing of the roof that is going on out at Southern Cal.
And on the Florida point, especially if DJ Lagway goes and plays well, which he'll probably play well if Florida wins the game, at 7-5 right now, they'd finish 8-5. And Billy Napier could say, we finished 8-5 with 4 straight wins over LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, and then in the bowl game against Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
And that was after, I think, roughly after the AD had sort of secured his job and said Billy Napier's coming back with one of the toughest schedules in the country.
And you have hope. And you have the anointed one. You know, it's one thing to be lost at sea and the ship sinking and you steady the ship and you stop it sinking. It's another thing to be lost at sea, the ship sinking, fix the ship so it's not sinking, and then somebody screams land ho. That's what this feels like for Florida because of what DJ Lagway's brought in these. Look at who they're getting through the portal. They just had a kid unsigned from Oregon to flip to Florida. Florida's starting to get hot again. And can Billy handle it? This is his last salvo. You got the momentum. You got your quarterback. You're probably going to beat up Tulane. Yeah, the schedule sucks next year, but you're in a much better position as a team and how you're going to supplement this roster this year and the confidence. Is it crazy to think? I want to ask everybody in the comments this, and people are going to call in when the phone line's open here in 5 minutes. Am I crazy to say that Florida fans have more faith in Billy Napier than Ohio State fans have in Ryan Day right now? Is that a true statement?
That might be a stretch.
You think is that the line? Is that the line? I don't know. I don't think it's that.
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you after this weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But no, there's some really good bowl games on the periphery as well. We got your alma mater playing tonight, Georgia Southern.
Well, not my alma mater.
Or excuse me, your home base.
Mine might be going and getting.
Yeah, your alma. I'm sorry.
Georgia Southern on today. Yeah, Sam Houston -3.5, -4 right now.
Sam Houston's coach went to Temple when that opened up. So Sam Houston coachless. Don't let that affect you too much. But speaking about letting something affect you too much. All right, we know you're going to consume some libations. Maybe tonight. Maybe probably tomorrow. This weekend, definitely during the games. Hope you have a couple while you're watching our live stream in Notre Dame and Indiana. You need to drink responsibly. We all know that, but I already did the responsible man ad. I want to tell you about Z-Biotics. What is Z-Biotics? Blaine asks out of nowhere.
What is Z-Biotics?
Dog, that was out of nowhere. It's a pre-alcoholic probiotic drink. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. I'm going to make this really simple because I don't understand what that means either. You drink this before you go drink alcohol, and you don't feel as bad the next day.
It works.
Y'all know what I'm saying. Those tough mornings, those rough mornings, especially when you mix alcohols like a rookie. I'll make that mistake this weekend probably, but I drink my Z-Biotics. So guess what? I wake up and then I get my cake up. All right, that's what Z-Biotics does. It's fantastic. You just drink it, then you drink. You don't feel as bad the next day. And we've all used it, right, Coney? You've used it.
Well, I have about 3 of these a weekend.
Yeah, Cone drinks 3 every morning. What about you, Blaine?
Now, you want to know how they work? I went to the Floribama for an entire night. Bushwhackers, the whole thing. Drank Z-Biotics before I went. Felt like $1 million the next day.
Straight out of magic.
If they can beat Floribama, then he can beat everything.
That's exactly right. Go to zbiotics.com/booster to learn more and get 15% off on us with your first order when you use code BOOSTER at checkout. It's backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, which you won't be, they'll refund your money, but you're going to just buy more because it works. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/booster, then use the code BOOSTER, a little discount double check there, at checkout for 15% off.
And if you want
What?
to hear it from anybody other than us, DMAC, Z-Biotics came in clutch for our 7-day trip in Cancun.
Yeah.
It's 100%.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, this is one of my favorite products as we use the products that we push. It is a fantastic deal. All right, the phone lines are going to open here in 2 minutes. I want to get to the chat. Then I want to get to locks, leans, and dogs.
Let's go to Carl Hensley. What's up, Carol? So South Carolina cares about that 10th win, which is rare for us. Beamer already mentioned it several times. South Carolina wants this one bad.
That 10 wins just hits different, right? You get to double digits, just hits different, man. Look, what Shane Beamer's doing there, the momentum that they've already accrued. You talk about just zooming into next year. I'm serious. I think if South Carolina plays well and wins this game, they have a very good chance at being a top 5 ranked preseason team next year. I really believe that.
Let's go to a $2 donation from Salt Pepper and a little fire. He says, I hope Penn State dog walks SMU. Screw the committee. RTR.
Boy, there's going to be so many Alabama fans that are Penn State fans in this game because, not because they love Penn State or really even care about Penn State, just so at the end of the game, if Penn State does walk them, they can look and say, I told you so.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'd rather be watching Penn State take on Alabama this weekend. But that doesn't necessarily mean I think that Alabama deserved to get in over SMU. But I think we can all agree that'd be a great matchup.
It'd be a great matchup, but we got to let this game play out first.
True.
Maybe this game could end up being a better game stylistically.
This one will go to 3 overtimes. This will be the greatest college football game ever. SMU will win by 2.
No, here's what will happen. This will be the greatest college football game ever. SMU will lose in 4 overtimes. Now Alabama fans will be like, see, told you.
No, that
should have been in.
Either that
should have been
in. SMU will go win by 2 in quadruple overtime. And then in the next game, they'll lose by 60, like TCU.
And people will
then everybody will say, remember that time y'all let SMU in?
Yeah, they got destroyed. It's going to Phil Morris. What's up, Phil? As a Texas fan, I have to pick Oregon to win it all unless Quid gets hurt and Arch steps up. Then Texas can win it all.
Well, I tell you what, we talk about Ohio State fans not trusting Ryan Day has won a lot of games. I don't know a lot of Texas fans that are like, Quinn Ewers, can't quit you. Like, I just don't. Because it's not as fun or as like hyped up. Like the backup quarterback, especially if he can run, is always like super gassed up. But the backup quarterback is Arch Manning, and he can run. Like him running and scoring that touchdown, like the 1 of 3 plays he was in there in the SEC championship was like the worst thing that could happen to Quinn Ewers.
I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. It's the Fansville commercial. He's in the Fansville.
He is in the Fansville commercial.
There's a Fansville curse. That's why I can't take Texas this time.
I get it too, though. I get it. I get what they're saying, but you don't know about Arch either. What if Arch like just turns out he's just not good? What if that happens?
He just Arch man.
Yeah, they're just like,
Arch man.
Oh, is the Avatar when you need him the most, he just disappears?
Just like, they used to do that about Jason Tatum.
Yeah, $5 donation from Jeremy. Appreciate it, Jeremy. Oregon has given up over 30 points in their 3 biggest games. Defense is going to be the reason they will not win it all.
That's why I picked Tennessee to beat Oregon, because I think Tennessee could run the ball effectively on Oregon, and I think they're athletic on defense to tackle that quick passing game that Will Stein implements, maybe even Gabriel taking off, and they're really staunchy in the red zone, man. I think that Tennessee-Oregon matchup would be awesome, dude. Not that the Oregon-Ohio State game was a classic, too. I'm sure it'd be a classic if they played again, but something about Tennessee and Oregon, just the smells are so good.
Let's go to Rahul Mizra. What's up, man? Michigan fans don't care about the bowl game. You got the 2023 Natty, and you broke the state of Ohio, and Bryce is coming.
That's how
Let's just get this season over.
It's still Alabama, though, man. It's not like you're.
But like you won the one that mattered.
I get that. Look, like I said, you're the defending national champions. That's your past. You signed the best player in the history of your program, the highest rank. That's your future. I get it that the year's not hinging on this bowl game. I'm just saying it's not like they're going and playing San Jose State. You're playing
there's
going
to be some pride there, but it's like, how many Michigan fans, if they lose this game, are going to be like, fire Sherrone Moore. Fire him.
No.
Into the sun. I feel like Bama cares more, and the fans care more because they're pissed. Like, Michigan knew they weren't getting the playoff. Also, they could have beat Ohio State by 1,000 and not made the playoff.
I don't mean for San Jose State to be just catching strays out of nowhere, but I had to pick some program.
All the Nick Nash, dog.
I had to pick some program.
Yeah, all the San Jose State fans just clicked off.
They quit the show.
Appreciate it. Let's go to a $5 donation from Sir Tanner Blaine Cornwallis Barrington Crane.
Dude, does this handle worth things still?
It says, Oregon is winning it all, chaps. All the other teams rot like expired fish and chips and cigarettes. Give me the Ducks. Quack, quack, quack.
Well, you picked the number 1 overall seed, man. Like,
that would not
is this a shot at me?
David.
Change my pick.
Yeah,
give me Arizona State.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to say you're wrong. Like, look at this idiot picking Oregon to win it. I think what was the handle again? Blaineth, Craneth?
It was Sir Tanner Blaine Cornwallis Barrington Crane.
That's a lot. The third.
All right, let's go to James P. Appreciate it, James. He says, Kalen DeBoer needs to get this win. If Jalen Milroe's playing, I expect Alabama to bury these guys. Michigan has 0, and I mean 0 of anything on offense.
Agree. I don't think you're going to get any argument from us on Michigan's versatility.
David?
Someone's going to have to play football for them.
David?
Yeah. Do Alabama fans, do Alabama fans want Jalen Milroe back? Do they want him back?
I've talked to a lot that say no.
I've talked to a lot that say no. Y'all are nuts. God, I wish. Could we have him? We'll pay double for Jalen Milroe.
Will you?
Yes.
Well, this is an era where that
Apparently,
matters.
we paid $1.3
Why haven't they done it
million
then?
for Jackson Arnold.
Huh?
Apparently, Auburn paid like almost $1.5 million for Jackson Arnold. If Jackson Arnold
For
for
1 year.
$1.5 million, Yeah, then I'm worth at least $200,000. At least, just for showing up.
Look, give me $27,000. I'll come do it.
Like, why would we not?
That's so specific.
Don't ask me why that
gambling
number.
debts.
Yeah,
Don't ask me
plays like Keanu Reeves at Hardball. He's like watching the game through the sports bar
That's
window.
a great movie.
It's a great movie. I didn't like the way
G-Baby?
they did G-Baby, though. I don't bring that up.
G-Baby.
It pissed me off. All right, let's move on to some locks, leans, and dogs here, David.
All right, locks, leans, and dogs.
Bring them on the screen.
Bring it up.
There we go.
All right, here we go. All right, now we included, this is the college football playoff games and games that are taking place this week and this weekend. So we're going to give another locks, leans, and dogs going into the next weekend with all the bowls. Here's what I got. Florida, momentum, friendship, beaches, -9.5 at -31 against Tulane. Mensa's already going to Duke. John Summerall still at Tulane. I think they're going to play hard, but Florida wants that momentum. You don't want to play a close game against Tulane. That's not going to give you a lot of momentum. They want DJ Swagway to go out there and do his thing. So give me the Gators -9.5. Then the Notre Dame-Indiana spread is gone up on the over-under, which scares me, but I'm going to let it keep going up. I'll take the under at 52.5 today. That is at -110, methodical game. Some would say boring. I say beautiful. Then my leans, Tennessee +7.5. Love this spread. That's at -112. Got a touchdown protection, too. I expect this game to be kind of slower paced than what some people think. Then I got a little 3-team parlay in the leans. Now, it's only -103, but that's why you should feel great about it. Penn State moneyline over SMU. Texas moneyline over Clemson. Sorry, Cone. And then Florida moneyline over Tulane. You put those three together, click your heels twice. You're in Kansas, and you won a bet that had -103 odds. And then dogs.
Oh, God, he's dying. That dog's
What
dead.
kind of dog is
That dog's dead.
It's a Pyrenees. Tennessee money line +235 on the road at Ohio State. I picked them to win. I'm going to pick them in dogs. And then Indiana. I picked Notre Dame to win, but
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah, Kurt Signetti, you never know. He's just smoking cigs and drawing up route combos. Give me Indiana money line at +225. Beat that dog impression.
I like it a lot. I got a lot of the same things here. Give me Tennessee +7.5, -110 as one of my locks here. I think we're in for a close football game, guys. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to take Tennessee +7.5. Lock me in for Florida -10.5. I know both of you guys are buying that extra point. You're going to get it to -9.5. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to leave it right there with the -110 odds. Honestly, I would take Florida up to maybe even -13.5 right now. I think they win by 2 scores. I think Florida's going to come out and try and set a message. You got a problem with that one, right?
How did Blaine get it at Florida -9.5 at -120? I'm sitting here at -131. You plotting on me,
You're going to have to take that up with your brother.
Yeah,
Let's go to my leans.
Out of your book.
I'm leaning Clemson +12, -110. I mean, I hope I would lean Clemson +12. I just had them upsetting in the 5-12 there in the previous segment. So give me Clemson plus the 12 points.
They're going to have to cover to win that.
Tennessee OSU under 46.5, -112. I think we're in for some playoff football in maybe sub-freezing weather. We'll find out. After all this talk about the cold weather, it'll probably be 58 degrees.
What, did you see what Josh Pate put out? Like all the games, he did like a weather update. It's like Penn State, SMU, low 20s, flurries possible. Ohio State, Tennessee, low 20s, flurries possible. Indiana, Notre Dame, low 20s, flurries possible. Texas, Clemson, 55. Like 60. Like it's so different than all the others. It's hilarious.
So give me that Tennessee OSU under 46.5. And then for my dogs, just copy and paste, baby. Right here, Bet Buds. We got the same ones. I like the value at Tennessee moneyline +235. And then Indiana as well, +225. Maybe Signetti just gets these boys dialed up. In-state rivalry. Hey, go win the football game. Why are you raising your hand?
I'm just saying, why didn't you take Clemson money line?
Look.
It's
I did that.
+335.
I'm trying to hedge my bets here. Can I hedge a little bit?
Why you gotta go in on my guy right here?
Why you gotta say that three times?
Thank you. Tell him. Talk to him, son.
Why you gotta get it out of your mouth?
Boy, if I had a nickel.
Sucks, doesn't it? All right, I like it. I didn't understand why you wouldn't take Clemson. It's +335 on the line. It's not a bad bet.
All right, Clemson money line. I'll get 2 picks.
Hey, wow. All right, let's go to lock.
See, you picked Sam Houston State money line. What an idiot.
Well, look, I didn't have any upsets in the playoffs.
Well, you picked Sam Houston. Now we got problems.
We beefing? Was this Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Locks. Tennessee +7.5, boys. I like it, too. It's going to be a close game. I think that's -110. Then I'm going the under, too, Crain. Notre Dame, Indiana, that thing's keep going up. I love 52.5. I don't think there's going to be that many points scored in this game. Run it. Let's all kick field goals. Leans. All right, Florida -9.5. -120. Jake, you can come down with me to that -120.
Justine, please make a note.
These all need to get matched anyways. I don't know why they're not.
I got a match.
So Florida -9. I'm going to Indiana +7.5 too, -110. I think this is going to be an absolutely close football game. The Tennessee game and the Indiana game. Then my dogs. Shut up. All right, I'm going Sam Houston State money line because you know why? Screw you, Cone. That's why. You should have picked Clemson on your dogs. But give me Jacksonville State money line +150. You know why? Because why not? I didn't have any upsets in the playoffs. Sure, Tree. What's up? Come on, Groot. What's up, man?
On the Indiana +7.5.
Yeah.
Did you buy the extra half point or did you find it at 7.5? Because I saw it at 7 earlier, but I'd like that hook extra.
No, I got it at 7.5.
It was. I saw it on DraftKings at +7.5.
Okay.
Yep.
That's when I did see it. All right, we want to know what your best bet is. We are going to get to the phone lines here in a second. 1-855-236-3228. We want to hear from you. Let's try and keep the calls to 30 seconds because we're going to be rocking.
We're going to hang up on you if you.
Yeah, Cone, you tell me when we're ready. Let's get to the chat.
All right, let's go to Doghouse Lawn Care. Carson Beck returns for college football for another season, but not at UGA. What say you?
Again, would anything shock me? But I think Carson would declare. I think he'd declare. What if we had a situation where Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers were both in the transfer portal?
Wow.
Where do you think Carson Beck would go? Where do you think he'd go? I got to guess.
Where? Notre Dame?
I got too many tattoos.
They don't care. You can spin the ball. Like, shut up and tackle somebody. You're in. That's what I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know that Brian Driscoll said their quarterback's on their roster, but maybe they didn't know Carson Beck was going to come in here. Right?
Let's go to Mitch. He says, guys, do you think any of these playoff games will be decided by the 2-point overtime conversion?
Yes.
We can only hope.
Yes, I think tomorrow's will.
Really?
Dude, we have been so good at picking the perfect game to live stream. Live streaming Alabama or Georgia at Alabama in Innisfree, that was such an incredible target. Just hit the target on what game to live stream.
That was awesome.
Awesome.
Anybody who watched the Georgia Tech game, that thing play out. Maybe not if you're a Georgia fan.
Yeah.
But the rest of us, I was loving that.
It was a great game.
All right, let's go to Seth. What's up, man? If Ohio State and Ryan Day lose to Tennessee, I think Ryan Day's days are numbered.
I don't think they'll fire him. I think, Ross coming out and saying that wasn't just, wordplay. I think he really meant it. I mean, I think it increases and ramps up the pressure even more for him next year, but I don't think they fire him.
All right, let's go to Yanatani 4316. My first round predictions: 5 Texas over 12 Clemson,
okay.
Penn State over SMU, Indiana over Notre Dame, and he's taking Tennessee over Ohio State.
So me and you are pretty much the same outside of Indiana over Notre Dame. I'm taking Notre Dame.
All right, let's go to Maction17. What's up, dude? He says, guys, I like Boise State in this tournament. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. Right now, would you rather take Clemson or SMU to make a deeper run?
Oh, give me Clemson.
I would say Clemson. I would say Clemson because of the line of scrimmage. As far as liking Boise State in this tournament, what does that mean? You like them to win it, or you like them to win one game? I think we got to be specific on one because I like Boise State in general. I think it's cool that they're here. I don't think they're gonna beat Penn State. If you're a Boise State fan, I think you need to become an SMU fan this weekend as well. Not because SMU sucks or anything. It's just that's a better matchup, I think, for Boise.
All right, let's go to Harrison Smith. He says, I think Ewers and Beck are both overrated. Isn't it crazy that both backups would be better for the team?
How can we say that? Like definitively, maybe the way you frame it is they are overrated and we need to see if the backup is better than them. I don't think Gunnar Stockton's giving you any reason to think he's better than Carson Beck. He might end up being, but I don't think he's giving me any reason. I don't think Arch has done enough to sit here and say that he's better than Quinn Ewers. They possibly could be, but to state that as an absolute fact, I think is a bridge too far for me.
The question to me is not even whether or not the backups are better than the starters, but can both of those programs or either of those programs win the national championship with their backup?
Yeah.
Which Georgia's in a different situation because they're not going to have a choice, I don't think.
Very true. Very true.
Let's go to $5 donation from Gibby. Appreciate it, Gibby. These OSU fans aren't going to be laughing at Tennessee when they wake up on Sunday morning and see their goalposts floating in the river.
Boy, you thought it was bad when Michigan tried to plant the flag. If Tennessee goes and gets the goalpost, we may have a Jan 6 situation.
Let's go to
It's a felony for a flag?
Yeah. What is that one? The death sentence?
Electrocution.
Yeah.
Let's go to I'm Horned Up. How much of Arch Manning do you expect to see in the playoff?
You'll have packages with it. I don't expect you to see him, unless there's an injury, play that much. I think by everybody talking about this, Kirby and them or whoever's playing Texas is going to prepare for Arch to come in, but I'm more interested in if they're going to let Arch throw the ball at all in the playoffs off all this run stuff that he's built up. So Sark's going to roll with Quinn. I mean, that's going to be the guy right now. So unless he just absolutely falls apart and Arch comes in and balls, or he literally falls apart because he gets hurt and Arch has to come in, that's the only way. I think some of y'all are setting y'allself up to be pissed off when Arch Manning doesn't come in and play that much.
Well, he went into the SEC championship game and they snapped it through his legs on 4th down, but they picked it up.
On purpose.
True.
Yeah.
I thought that went without saying.
Well,
instead of just jumping to, is Arch Manning going to throw the ball any, is he even going to get the snap and run it?
Is he going to catch the snap? Yeah. There we go.
Let's go to the phone lines here. We'll start with Thad in Kansas. What's going on, Thad?
Gentlemen, how we doing today?
What's up, man?
Good.
Jake, your metaphors are magical.
Thank you.
I just need to let you know that. Blaine, I'm going to agree to disagree with this next statement I got to give to Coney. Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and it's one of my top 3, along with Christmas Vacation and White Christmas. So, but I want to let you guys know your Spitz Boobin cookies are dope. I like Forrest Gump. I had some.
Oh, good. Did you get the address to send them? Because I need some Spitz Boobin all up in my face.
He said, like Forrest Gump, I had some.
I'll stay on the line after I stop talking to you guys to try and get it. But I wanted to call in about Oklahoma getting this year. I'm freaking pumped, dude.
Y'all should be. Must be nice.
Baker actually was the one that sealed the deal, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, we got y'all's.
So Jackson Arnold was the problem?
I think it was.
Maybe that injuries, but there's no excuse for playing like garbage. So when you play like crap, you got to call it crap. So,
yeah, it just sucks that we got like y'all's dyslexic ex, and y'all got the y'all got the best girl at the prom. That's great. Good luck.
What did Baker do? What did Baker do to seal the John Mateer deal?
So he actually called him direct and talked to him about Oklahoma football, and just said, you're going to love it at Oklahoma. Basically, the fans, the stadium, the way the school is. I think gave him the rundown of Oklahoma.
That must be nice. Cam Newton told our 5-star quarterback he could never wear number 2. Great. It's glad y'all are all on the same page. That? Yeah. Then listen, I mean, we can have the argument should he or not, but we need you helping out here recruiting. Baker Mayfield's over here getting quarterbacks to go to Oklahoma. You're over here clowning our 5-star recruit.
Wait, who was that? Deuce Knight?
Yeah.
He told Deuce he can't wear number 2?
Yeah, he was like, no, he can't wear number 1 or number 2. Which, I mean, it is what it is. Just wish we were on the same page.
Man. All right, appreciate it, Thad.
Just let me do it. I'm almost to that.
Merry
Thanks,
Christmas,
man.
Gentlemen.
Merry Christmas. All right, let's go to 702 Gambler in Las Vegas, man. Where you at in Las Vegas?
702.
Hello?
Yo, what's up, man?
Okay, sorry about that. I had you guys on mute. Yeah, I'm up here in Summerlin.
Nice.
Sorry about that. I've been sick the last week, so you have to excuse me. I'm going to try to get through this phone call. I'm not feeling great. I do want to give a shout out to Brendan Marion because he did take the Sacramento State job yesterday. Former UNLV offensive coordinator.
Perfect fit for him too to start off.
I agree. I wanted to address Blaine's college football playoff bracket because we have the same bracket. I have Ohio State winning the Natty as well. But I also have Georgia getting to the championship. I went back and watched a lot of film since I've been sick, and that's just a really resilient bunch. And, I mean, those guys have been down big multiple times this year. It's just going to be hard for me to bet against Kirby until they get to the national championship. But I have a hypothetical question for the three of you guys, and it's surrounding Ohio State if they lose to Tennessee. I do think Ryan Day is going to get fired. What do you guys think about Bill Belichick taking that Ohio State job if Ryan Day's fired? Because we've seen him, once upon a time take the Jets job and then the very next day go to the Patriots. So it's not like he hasn't done something like that before.
Yeah, I think this one's a little bit different. If he hadn't have taken the North Carolina job and he was still floating out there and Ohio State fired Ryan Day, I think maybe Ohio State would have brought him in. I don't think it's likely. But now that he's locked into North Carolina with what he asked, because, I believe one of the branches of the asks for Belichick was that his son would be the head coach in waiting as well. So I think he's pretty much locked in with the war chest. Now he's got an NIL. Again, I'll say it, nothing would ever shock me in coaching. I saw Nick Saban sat up there and say, I'm never leaving the Dolphins. I'm not going to Alabama. Stop asking me about it. And then he's going to Alabama and people are asking him about it. I think that's highly unlikely, though. And as far as you and Blaine's bracket being the same, I'm really excited that both of y'all can be wrong together. It's nice to have company.
Haters gonna hate, dude. Look, we'll have the last laugh at the end.
I'll tell you what, man, if Bill Belichick takes the OSU job, you got to call in and take a victory lap.
Yeah, if you do that, I'm coming out to Vegas to meet you.
All right, that's the deal. Before I go, I got a question for you three on Quinn Ewers, because I do think he's coming back. Last week I was talking to a buddy who's an NFL scout, and we were talking about a bunch of quarterbacks that ruined their draft stock, and I think he's coming back, but I don't think he can go back to Texas because
that's the question. Yeah.
So where do you guys think he's going? I think Ole Miss makes sense if Lane is there, but I'm curious what you guys think.
What if he goes back to where he came from?
He doesn't match what Ole Miss does.
Yeah.
If he goes back to Ohio.
I mean, yeah. Here's what I think with Quinn. If where I feel like Quinn Ewers would end up, like UCLA. Somewhere like that. I think that would be a school. Miller Moss has already gone to Louisville.
About USC.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see with USC. I mean, to me, that's kind of the place where he would go. As far as Ole Miss, like Blaine said, stylistically, it just really doesn't match up. But you know what does match up?
What about Oregon?
No,
I don't think so. I don't.
Yeah, they got the Moore kid that's the backup, right?
He left UCLA for a reason.
Yeah, well, look, everybody leaves everywhere. Yeah. So, like, you never really can count one in the.
Or is Dylan Gabriel going to play
better than one in the bush? But even when you got it in the hand, all of a sudden you look around, it's back in the bush. So
it's better than two in the bush.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But now. It's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see Carson Beck, too. But I hope you're going to watch the live stream tomorrow night with us, Notre Dame, Indiana, there, 702.
Thanks, 702. Appreciate it, man.
It's a gambler.
All right, let's go to Mike in Colorado. What's up, Mike?
Hey, guys. So thanks for taking the call. I wanted to just get your thoughts on this. I know right now Colorado's got a lot of things going. And just hearing what Coach Prime said recently, and after hearing how Travis conducted himself, during the season, it was realized that he paid into the collective himself and covered 10 or 15 guys' NIL deals for the team. And then Coach Prime saying today in an interview, I think, that if you want the bag, don't come here. We'll help you get on the field and you show success. We'll help you get your deals, but it's not going to come from the school. That's not why you want to come here. Do you think that's more the situation in a lot of these programs now? Is you get a guy in there who guys want to come play for, get on the field and have their opportunities to get to the NFL where the real money is, and maybe like the Ohio State, they're kind of papering over these issues by trying to throw way too much money at these problems and not getting the results that they're going to need to see?
Well, to me, I think you want the perfect balance of having a coach that guys want to play for and go to bat for, but also have the resources from the school to be able to compete in these NIL spaces. But you are a victim of your circumstance. Not saying that Colorado doesn't have money or Prime doesn't have money, but you need to play to the strengths of where you're at, just like in recruiting in general. You want to accentuate, if you're in a small town as opposed to a big city, you're going to sell small town feel and everybody's together and everybody loves this. If you're in a big city, you're going to sell, hey, there's so much to do here. You're going to love it. The lifestyle is amazing. There's so many people and things like that. So again, you're going to try and sell it the way you need to sell it with where you're at. I just have a hard time believing that Colorado doesn't have money. Like, I think Prime sells a lot.
Yeah, I think they have the money. I just don't think they're going to shell out $12 million for a quarterback.
Well, I don't think a lot of people are going to shell out.
If they have the money, that makes it even worse. I mean, the whole thing about Deion Sanders coming to Colorado, the first words out of his mouth when he showed up was him talking about bringing his Louis luggage. I mean, Shedeur Sanders ranks #1 on every single NIL list that you can bring up. I mean, I understand the point that that's a lot through advertisements and endorsements rather than a collective, but he has no problem with his son getting paid a lot of money
I mean,
so now all of a sudden we're switching up and saying, no, don't come here if what you're trying to do is get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, well, and I still think there is something to saying that the most important things to get you paid in this game that start with N and end with L isn't NIL, it's NFL. You're going to make way more money if I can put you in a spot, that you can get drafted and then have a good chance to get into that second contract. So there's a lot of different ways to sell it. That's what I find kind of the most intriguing part of this is depending on where you're at, it's what you're going to sell. If you own a Ford dealership, you're going to say Ford's the best. If you own a Chevrolet dealership, you're going to say Chevrolet's the best. Just depends on which dealership you're at.
Great call, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. All right, let's go to Kirk in Canada. What's up, Kirk?
Hey, boys, what's going on? I haven't called in a while.
I know,
What's up, man.
We were hoping you were all right.
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're good. Just trying to get through this snowstorm, but that's another call for another day. So, quick point for all three of you guys. Kudos to Blaine for being the only one of the three who takes his team that he took preseason. Respect, even though I think the Dogs are going to win the championship. But
yeah.
Second one, Mr. Jake, very excited. Your wife's giving birth next month. I remember very, very well when our first one was on the way. Very exciting stuff.
January 9th.
Couldn't be happier for you.
Thanks, man. I've been stretching and looking out the window.
My oldest is going to be 26 tomorrow. I can't even believe that.
Wow. Congratulations, man.
And last but not least, got to give a quick shout out to Mr. Cohn for his comment yesterday about Christmas. That was just right on the money. Keeping Christ in Christmas, Matthew 1:21. They shall call his name Jesus. He shall save his people from their sins.
Yeah.
Good stuff, boys. Keep killing it. Love the show.
All right, Kirk. Thanks, buddy.
Hold down Canada for us. All right, let's go to Trey in Midland, Texas. What's up, Trey?
You from Midland?
From Midland?
We from Midland, baby.
What's up, dude?
Man, first-time caller. Been listening to the show for a couple years now. You guys rock. Doing an incredible job. Used to listen to a show on the other network, and you guys absolutely crush it. So a couple things. One of the guys kind of took a little bit of my thunder talking about I am a Texas fan, talking about Quinn Ewers. 100% will be in the transfer portal next year. No questions asked. And definitely will probably end up at North Carolina.
Even if he wins the Natty, let me ask you this. What if Quinn Ewers balls in this tournament and y'all win the Natty? You still think he's going to end up somewhere else? They're going to push him out?
I think it's going to be a similar deal. Now, granted, Dylan Gabriel didn't have the end of the season like you just described, but it's going to be similar to Dylan Gabriel and Jackson Arnold at OU. They've got the guy in waiting. And with the NIL and how all that works now, it almost just seems like they can't keep him around for another year.
It's almost like DJU at Clemson.
Yeah, exactly.
You won 10-plus games, and they pushed you out.
That was just a good decision.
Exactly. So last thing I want to say is real quick, just, we're talking about the college football playoff. People talking about, the 3 loss teams. Should they be in? Shouldn't they be in? In my opinion, that just clearly shows us that the playoff is working, because if people are complaining about 3 loss teams not making it, not too long ago, we were still in the BCS days where you're sitting there waiting to see what 2 teams out of the entire country are going to make it in.
Well, Trey, what I find funny in this whole thing is that, if it came down and we were arguing about strength of schedule, or if we were arguing about just what conference you were in or how big your brand is, that's one thing. But that's not the argument. You know what the argument is? You lost too many games. That's the whole point.
That doesn't matter.
Of getting into the postseason. Isn't it amazing? People are like, oh, you want to talk about losing games? Let's talk about strength of record. I'm like, no, dude, it's something you lost the games, dog. The whole point of playing the games to get into the postseason is to win as many of them as you have to get in. We're not arguing over the sides or the appetizers or the drinks. We're arguing over the main thing. You lost too many games. That's the whole point.
Trey, does Texas have the juice to win this thing or what?
Man, you guys are spot on. Our defense is as good as anybody in the country. However, Quinn is as talented as any other quarterback when he keeps his jersey clean. Obviously, Kelvin Banks hasn't played. left tackle, which, it's a little concerning. However, I like the matchup against Clemson. I really do think our front seven will be able to contain Klubnik. I don't think he's going to be able to run all over the place like he has been. And our secondary, which I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I am most confident in the defensive side of the football as a Texas fan for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah, and Sarkisian's your coach. That's like saying, God, Georgia, trust the offense.
Wow, yeah. Appreciate it, Trey.
Great call, man.
Thanks, man.
Hey, thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Let's go to Jacob in Tennessee. What's up, Jacob?
Hey, what's up? How's it going, guys?
What's up, man?
Oh, yeah. So I just wanted to ask if you guys think the Tennessee takeover is actually going to happen. I know you guys have touched on it a little bit, but I'm confident.
Here's where I'm at on it. We kind of mentioned it a little bit yesterday, and then we talked about it with Kane. Such a weird thing to say in a sentence. I can believe it. It's like a trust but verify to me. If you're telling me that it's a possibility, I can believe it's a possibility, but I've got to see it to actually believe it. Because I know a lot of propaganda gets put out there, and I'm still having a hard time seeing how, as much as you could not like Ryan Day, as much as you could even think, we had somebody in the chat say, well, they're selling their tickets so they can go to the Rose Bowl. That makes no sense to me. You're literally playing at home. Right. I don't host a party and go stay at a hotel the weekend before. That makes no sense. So I have to see it, but I know Tennessee fans, I saw how many Jell-O shots they bought at the College World Series, and plus I just see them, right? And I'm from Alabama, where there's two teams that have a ton of support, and it's kind of split. That ain't it in Tennessee. You don't have 50% of people like me. It's Vandy, dog. No, it's 95% Tennessee. So I can believe it. I just got to see it.
What's considered a takeover?
They're projected 42% right now, right?
Mm-hmm. So
again, this all comes down to the ticket allocation. It's not like one of the neutral site games where it's 50-50, and as long as your team being 100% occupied is 50%, and the other team 50%, and then anything they don't buy up, then you can take over the 50% margin. I don't think it's that.
So if it's 40, how much does Ohio State hold? 106?
Something like that.
So let's call it even 100. Just to call it. If you had 42% of the tickets, that's 42,000 people.
Bro, that's a lot.
That's insane.
And I agree with you. Where are these Buckeye? Who are the Buckeye fans that are no, we're season ticket holders, but we're not only are we not going to go to the very first playoff game that's at home, but we're also going to sell the ticket to the rival team coming in.
Yeah,
if y'all have 42% in that stadium, that's going to be incredible. I mean, you still got to execute. That's what this is going to be.
Yeah, but you've negated a huge disadvantage.
That'd be insane.
That would be insane.
Appreciate it, Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks, man. All right, let's go to Carson in Birmingham. What's up, Carson?
The ham.
What's going on, y'all? How are we doing today?
Well, I found out Janai Broom's okay, so my day's going to be a lot better.
Dude, that was terrifying.
God, why? Why? Why does this always happen?
He's okay.
I know he's okay.
Dude, but Chaney Johnson, though, he's legit.
This... they're actually playing Purdue in Birmingham Saturday, right? Are you going?
I'm not. I actually have the flu right now.
Oh, damn.
But I'll certainly be watching from home.
Well, man, it's going to be – I think they're going to be fine without him, but I'm just so glad he didn't, tear his rotator cuff or something. It looked bad. I was against Georgia State, I feel like Vandy right now.
Yeah, I know he had sort of a similar injury last season that he was able to bounce back from pretty quick. But, thankfully, everything's going to work out. If we lost him, I'd give up on the season, honestly.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd called in to ask, obviously, some of y'all, big Auburn guys. So, obviously, Jackson Arnold comes in from Oklahoma, and then the kid from Stanford. Breeze initially said that he wants 4 quarterbacks on scholarship. Do y'all think that he comes in with the recruiting cycle again in February or goes out for another transfer?
I would assume transfer portal to get that 4th spot, because now obviously you have Walker White went to Baylor, by the way.
Is that official?
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah, you know who Auburn plays first next year? At Baylor. Interesting how that stuff works out. So you got Deuce Knight on scholarship. You got Jackson Arnold on scholarship. You got Ashton Daniels on scholarship. So you got one more. I think you bring in a transfer portal guy. You know, what will he just be a guy to help hold a clipboard and be just in case for emergencies? I don't know. I kind of feel like that's who Ashton Daniels is. I just can't believe they went this route. The high potential, haven't proven it on the field route. Like, it's such a big risk, man. Not that Cam Ward was going to be in the portal and you can only get what the portal bears, but man, like, this is your biggest gamble. Like, it's going to sink or swim, and we're going to know early. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Oh, yeah. We're going to know early.
Appreciate it, Carson. Thanks
Carson.
For calling, man. All right, let's go to Zach in Louisiana. Zach, talk to us.
What's going on, fellas? I know everybody talks about in the playoffs when we talk about underdog teams, we're all talking about Boise State this, Boise State that. Dave, I know you play quarterback. Is Sam Levitt not one of the best ball spinners in the playoffs right now?
Man, he can sling it, man. He
as
can.
A pure ball spinner, like, if Scat can run with anybody, like, is Arizona State not in the mix of being a potential? Could they not beat Clemson?
I can't believe Michigan State let that kid off campus, to be honest with you. And he can move a little bit, and the run game with Scatterbo opens up that
Move
pass.
a little bit, Dave. When he opens up, his ass is running.
He goes,
like, y'all would much rather see Clemson than Texas.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And then I think, you know, if it comes down to it, I think and I'm not Arizona State fan. I'm just saying I'm tired of everybody talking about Boise State. They're one-dimensional to me. Yep. I just think if we're talking about a underdog team, I just think Arizona State clicks all the boxes. They can run. They have one of the best ball spinners in my eyes. I just want to hear a little bit more about Arizona State when we talk about these underdogs.
I got them in the semifinal. Yeah, pull up my bracket.
I'm more worried about Arizona State on the defensive side. That's what scares me a little bit. And I'll tell you this much.
Yeah.
I would rather have. Yeah, if you gave me the option of having Arizona State's backfield, quarterback and running back, or Boise State's backfield, quarterback and running back, I'm taking Arizona State. And it ain't.
I like Maddox Madsen too.
No, I like Maddox Madsen.
Sam Levitt's better.
Sam Levitt's better. But the way watching them beat Iowa State without their best wide receiver,
without Tyson,
that was something. Yeah. So what's his status?
I think he's out.
I think he's out for the whole playoff.
I don't think he's
broke his collarbone.
Yeah, I saw some today. They ruled him out the rest of the season.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, Zach, great call, buddy. Appreciate it,
Great
Zach.
call, dude.
All right, hey, everybody who called in, thank y'all. Call in next week after these playoff games.
Yeah, we got that live stream tomorrow, too.
Come on, baby. Putting a lot of scratch on the under.
Tonight, we got bets yesterday. Dog, Western Kentucky. Coach Helton, we got to have a talk, man. Like, how did y'all blow it that badly? That badly. Even the gods were on y'all's sides. You're the coach that's there, man. Your quarterback's in the portal. You let him play. Saw no edge pressure at all. Thanks for nothing. Anyways, tonight, I'm going basketball. I don't trust this Sam Houston game. Something about it I don't like. But I got to pull the mask off and see it was really the Butler the whole time. Tonight, Georgia, they're playing Buffalo. There's 5 of y'all against one animal. Minus 27 at home. Minus 112. Then Texas is playing New Orleans. God, I wish that was a food matchup and I was the judge. Give me the over 148 at minus 110. David, your bets, please, huh?
Well, the Georgia Southern football Eagles do play football tonight, so that's what I'm going to be betting on. Give me Georgia Southern to lead both halves at plus 105. So they're leading at halftime and they win the game. And then give me Georgia Southern, Sam Houston over 48 points, minus 108.
All right, I love it. Bring up my bets. Bet a little basketball as well. New Orleans plus 33.5, minus 110. I think you're going against Texas. Just how bad do you have to be? Just lose by 32. You know, that's a lot of possession.
Just get beat that badly.
And then, Jake, I'm going with Georgia as well. Minus 26.5. Found it down a little bit to minus 120.
I like it. Georgia, kind of dangerous. Mike White. Look at that team. He's with Ace and Newell. He can do some things. I like Demery, too. Ace. He's going to take Georgia Southern minus 3.5 at minus 122. Then he's going to take the Georgia Southern TTP over 26.5 at minus 1.25. All right, let's get to the chat and then get ready to do this live stream tomorrow night. Woo!
All right, let's get these donations. If you donated today, really appreciate it on this side. Let's go to a $10 donation from Cal. Appreciate it, Cal. Jake, would you rather jump over 12 2-foot tall hurdles or 6 8-foot hurdles when they give the gold medal to the guy that hits all 12, and your Mads say you should have just made it over your 6.
Yeah, yes.
So jump over 12 2-foot tall hurdles or 6 8-foot hurdles.
I would go over the 12 2 feet. Are you kidding me? You see me try and jump 8 feet?
It's the day before the playoff. I can't.
Yeah, I'm scared. I thought you were going to ask me about it in all.
I have to read.
I thought you were going to ask me in all access about the idea we came up for, where the North Pole elves fight the South Pole elves.
Well, I don't want to tell that to everyone on the show yet. I don't want anybody taking our ideas.
That would be such a
$2 donation from Sir Jacob Martin Edmund Crain. Said, don't listen to my bloody brother, Texas champs.
Yes, Sir Jacob. Here, dilly.
$5 donation from War Chant. Jake, you better have your white tube socks, jean shorts, plain white polo, and your New Balance for that hashtag dad life. Get extra grilling tongs.
I'm already so there.
Get your tongs on.
I feel like I need like the Dr. Rick of like I'm already a parent, but I'm not. Like I'm just like checking all the plugs, and I'm like disciplining the dogs more, being more sturdy with it.
All right, we got 3 separate donations here from Jackson Harrison. Appreciate it, Jack. One's $2 donation. Woody's a complete fool that he's getting rolled in the chat. $5, this guy named Woody. $5 donation. What do y'all think about how Indiana matches up with Notre Dame stylistically? And what do y'all think about this parlay? Tennessee, money line. Indiana, +7. Penn State, money line. And Clemson, +12.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I'm just trying to know what Woody did.
When he was talking about Woody, I thought he was talking about Woody Johnson. Did you see that with the Jets owner?
Yeah.
Is that the Atlantic article?
Something, yeah, not taking free agents because of their Madden rating.
Jerry Jeudy because his son said his Madden rating wasn't good enough.
So their Madden rating wasn't high enough, and that's why they didn't take him at the Jets. That's dysfunction, man.
$5 donation from Shane. Appreciate it, Shane. For some odd reason, I feel like that's not the first time Blaine said, hey, get that out of your mouth. He says, with that said, go Dogs.
Well, look,
you don't have to do what you're about to do.
I'm just saying, I'm so glad that you're back from the place you were at. That was rock bottom.
$5 donation from 2 Cranes, 1 Cone. Let's go, Irish. Jake still owes me merch from week 1. If Notre Dame beats Indiana, how can they beat Georgia? It's amazing. When I was owing somebody merch. But we're not. That wasn't. That everybody. No one wants to say anything to Big Bad Jake.
I've been given no intangible proof that there was ever.
You made a bet.
Can you prove it? It's not about what happened. It's about what you can prove. Read a book. Not that 4th grade spelling when you got over.
If Notre Dame beats Indiana, how can they beat Georgia?
Same way. It's going to take Riley Leonard making explosive havoc plays. I trust Notre Dame's defense. I think, if Gunnar Stockton is the guy, it takes a lot away from the passing game, and I think you're going to see Marcus Freeman and then take advantage of that. That's why I picked Notre Dame to win it.
$2 donation from Want. Appreciate it, man. Over-under mustard bottles smuggled in by UT fans.
At least, I don't know what the number would be yet.
Golf balls too, right?
$2 donation from Matt Walsh's Alien. Says, Cone, we have the exact same bracket. Let's go.
Let's go.
God, again, you and 702 can be wrong together. Y'all two can be wrong together. I'm super excited.
No, if Matt Walsh has an alien, that dude's right.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on.
No, probably not.
How did he get here if he doesn't know what's going on?
I wish his alien would go to a WNBA game. That'd be great. $10 donation from 702 Gambler. Blaine, you and I have identical brackets. Ohio State has given up more than 18 points once this year. Let's not act like Ohio State defense isn't elite.
Yes and no.
$2 donations from Bootylicious Blaine Crain. I'm so sick of reading that. David Cone got that great clips type of cut.
That's good. So that's where Jesse, what's his name goes? The quarterback. Jesse
I don't think that's not a compliment.
It's not.
Great clips type of cut.
Jesse Palmer gets his haircut there apparently.
Well, we got haircuts tomorrow, don't we?
Yeah.
So I get a haircut tomorrow, and then the joke's gonna be on you.
Yeah. I'm gonna show. Actually, I got to go to Great Clips today.
$5 donation from Erickson Glazard II. Longtime listener, first time chatting. Have you guys talked about Red Zone and ads? What you mean, dog? There's ads on Red Zone now?
Yeah, what I watched it last week. I didn't see it.
What is
there some breaking story about it? I'll have to look that up.
I hope not. That'll be detrimental. $5 donation from David. Dane Cone and I have 3 of the same semifinal teams and the exact same natty outcome. From one David to another, great minds think alike.
Who said that?
That is David.
Yeah.
And that is one more donation from David. Looks like my Gators about to pull off a stunner. Dallas Wilson apparently asking to be released from his financial agreement with Oregon and plans to sign with us Christmas comes
early.
early.
Florida got that momentum. That's why I like betting them big.
All right, so NFL media confirmed to Sportico.com that Sunday was viewed as a test run for commercials, which could become a regular part of Red Zone during the 2020 season. Y'all knew it was too good to be true.
No, then I'm canceling. I bought it for one reason and not to watch ads.
Same.
Dude, you can't
there are other
go to Rainbow
shows.
Land.
Like, as much as I love Scott Hansen, like, I'm not watching it. You put the ads.
This is man. That's actually really legitimately going to piss me off. Like, I'll get angry.
Is it a lead?
Huh?
Is it a lead? Is it lead worthy?
I don't want to take any get off my lawn thunder from Cone, but that may be. I may have to lead us down the water.
One more donation.
Go off, son.
$5 donation from Tim. $5 donation from Tim. Day needs to go if he loses against Tennessee. Trust me, Mike Vrabel is sitting there waiting.
I've seen that report. You want to talk about
that's a name?
That would be.
That's
you give him a $20 million war chest. We may go take over Russia.
Let's get to the poll. Who will win the national championship? Oregon, Georgia, Ohio State, or other?
Oregon, 38%. You're not going to beat it, David. Don't try.
You don't think with other? Wait, who's in there? Georgia?
Oregon, Georgia, Ohio State, other.
Oregon, 38%.
Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame. I'll go with other 40%.
Oregon, 28%.
Okay.
Georgia, 28%.
Ooh.
Ohio State, 5%.
Ooh.
Other, 39%.
Dang it.
Go.
I was close. I meant to say other. All right, we appreciate you guys. Remember, live stream tomorrow night from Mission Cigar Bar. 6:40 p.m. Central is when it's starting. Indiana, Notre Dame, the kickoff of the playoff. I'm not even going to have – we're just going. I'm ready for the game to get here. And that was an incredible throw.
Oh, that just was just hideous to watch.
Well, I'm upset about the red zone thing. Look at my hands. Trying to keep it steady.
Gotta keep, yeah.